When we did the tour of the high school, Miss B had an aeroponic setup that she had you walk by as we went into the ag room, and she had all of you make little towers that were aeroponic towers. So what I decided is I would set up one of the commercial ones and we could see how well it worked. So AeroGarden says that it is the leader for the aeroponics industry. So if you see that little guy back there, this is the setup. And so what we have is a water chamber and a light up here, and it will hold 6 vegetable pods. So I'm going to set this up and we can watch this over the next couple of days and we'll see how things grow. Now, the fun thing about aeroponics is the fact that there's no soil. It's just a water system and air. And so embedded inside that container is a water pump. And so it'll shoot water up at the plant roots, and the roots will take the water in with their specially formulated plant food, which is just essentially nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus. And the plant grows without any soil. It's a pretty clean system, and it's recommended for cities and places that don't have much land to do these type of systems. And so Miss B had that huge tower, and some countries are actually building these into their architecture, where you will have walls of these aeroponic systems that people can go and get their groceries from. Now, keep in mind that when we say groceries, what they're talking about is vegetables. So they grow a lot of lettuce. You can grow tomatoes and lots of different plants using the system. They're very common for the home person to grow their herbs. So we're going to start setting this guy up. So this is what he looks like. We've got a pump system here, and this is the water well. And then we have an adjustable light so that the plant gets the appropriate type of light in the appropriate amounts. And so this is an LED system, and embedded in here are some blue LEDs and some red LEDs, and then standard white LEDs. What we've learned is that plants grow best with different light types. If you want vegetation, you want a specific color or Kelvin temperature of light. If you want fruiting, then we have to change the color that the plant is receiving. And white light technically has all of the types, but by giving it the specific blue and red, we can make sure that the plant gets exactly what it needs so that we get the best growth and results out of our plants. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this over up on the side, and I'm going to fill to the fill line with water, and then we're going to look at the next piece. Okay, so I've got the water in the system, and so now it's time to talk plants. Now the plants are going to go into these trays, and this is just like that soda bottle or water bottle that Miss B had you work on. And she had you add some fertilizer. So this is the fertilizer that comes with the set. And when we look here, it tells you the breakdown of all of the different nutrients. Now it's kind of hard to read there, but this is what's inside that fertilizer mix. And so it says it has 4% nitrogen, and it's got 3% phosphate, and it's got 6% potash, which will give you the potassium, and it has 1% calcium and 0.5% magnesium. These are the materials that the plant has to have to survive. So each of those elements, the plant will break down and give us very specific things, like it'll give us leafy, leggy plants, or the greenery, or the fruiting body of the plant. Now, this is what goes into those containers. But wait, you said that it was soilless. That's not soil. That is moss. So it's going to act like a wick, just like your piece of wicking that Miss B had you put in the bottles. So it's going to take the water and the fertilizer from that pump as it sprays, and it's going to be sucked up through this peat moss, and that will allow the plant to grow. So the next step is to put each of these into that tray and then put the tray into the model. Okay, so I now have the pods into the tray, and so we're ready to go, right? No, we're not. Because these are sprouts, they're actually going to need very high temperature and high humidity to actually get them to sprout. So what we have are these little tiny domes, and they're little plastic and they're clear, and so they're going to let the light come down and they'll contain the moisture and the humidity and trap the light. And so it's going to get pretty hot in here, and that's going to force the seeds to sprout really fast. Now, with the setup that Miss B gave you, she had already gotten them to the sprouting stage. Well, these guys are seeds, so they need all the help they can get to get going. So I'm going to set this with all of the domes and set it into the back, and then we'll turn the light on. We're going to see what this guy's like. All right, so here's the setup. And that hum that you hear, that's the pump, which is going to send water up to the samples. And it'll be on for a specific amount of time, then it'll shut off, because you don't want to oversaturate the plants with water. Too much water will actually kill the plants. Now, I'm going to end up adjusting this light set down closer to the plants because we want the lights about 4 inches away. And so this guy will run until I shut him off. So we'll come and check this guy a couple of times. I'll try to give you a daily update on him. And in theory, if everything works the way it should, we should start seeing sprouts out of this guy between 4 and 28 days.